Alright guys, so here's the review of the Starking AM0259. So you can probably tell this is different packaging for Starking, or at least it's not one I've seen before. When I previously reviewed this one quite a while ago, which I've still got in my collection, I do really like that one. If you haven't seen the review for that, I'll leave a link to it up here. Do forgive me though, it is an older one of my videos, I think it's one of the early ones I really did. So the quality might be a little bit, hopefully I've improved since then. But anyway, getting back to this one. It's a nice little box. Their new slogan there, the Valley of Time, which at least I guess makes sense. And we've got the watch in there. Quickly go over the other bits that are in here. So cleaning cloth, just got the Starking branding on, warranty card, little Starking tag, got a little removal tool there. Not the best quality, but should do the job. And it's nice that they include it in the box. But other than that, it's just the watch, so get this out of the way and we'll get right down to it. And here's the actual watch. So, as far as I can tell, this is actually an original design. It's not an homage, well, not a direct homage of anything. Although you can clearly see it's inspired by Panerai with that cushion style case. Probably some elements of Zenith in there as well. The numerals on the dial. Let me know what you think down in the comments though. Would you say this is an homage, or would you say this is an original design? Before we get into any more detail on the watch though, let's go over the dimensions. So, we've got a diameter of 42mm, thickness of 11.2, lug width of 22, and then the all-important lug to lug is coming in at 49.8. So it is just under that magical 50mm for most people who've got a 7-inch wrist. So it should still wear quite well, despite being a 42mm watch. When it comes to the weight, it's weighing in at 83 grams, so it should wear quite nicely. Now let's get a zoom in on that dial and talk about that in a bit more detail. There's quite a bit going on here. So we've got that sub-dial down at the 5 o'clock, which is interesting for the second end there. Then we've got the date window at the 9 o'clock, sorry, instead of 3 o'clock, which again is pretty unusual. When it comes to these indices, we've got a mixture of printed and applied. So the 12, 3, 6 and 9 are all applied, the rest are just printed. But then we have actually got little markers on the outside of those ones that are just printed. So nice little touch there. They're in that kind of rose gold colour, matching the hands. And then you can see we've got plenty of lume on those hands. Doing the lume shot a bit later on. Other than that, we've got the Starking automatic printed at the top, and nothing printed at the bottom, obviously, because that sub-dial would be in the way. On this particular one, we've got a nice sunburst blue, but they do have a couple of other ones if you're not keen on this. They also have a white dial, and then they also do a black dial, which has a bronze case. I'll probably leave pictures on screen so you can see what they're like, but if not, link will be down in the description if you want to check it out. So, zoom back out, talk about the rest of the watch. So we've got pretty nice case shape there. Those lugs do curve down considerably, so it does help wear quite nicely, despite being 42mm. And obviously with that low 50mm lug to lug, that also helps. You can see there's a polishing on the side of the case, so it does smear a little bit and get fingerprints. But other than that, it's pretty nicely done. So it's more or less fully polished this, got that polished bezel as well. The only part that is brushed is the top of the case, on the sides here. Just to break it up slightly. When it comes to this crown, you're probably going to know this as an onion crown, as I would as well, but according to the listing, they're calling it a pumpkin crown. Perhaps I might be wrong here, but is that a thing, or is it just an onion crown? Let me know down in the comments. When it comes to the strap, got a nice vintage style strap, Starking branding on there. Also on the buckle, which is a mixture of brushed and polished. When it comes to the case back, we've got a nice display case back there. Specs around the outside, so we've got water resistance, sapphire, Starking, automatic, all stainless steel, and then the model number. When it comes to this movement, it doesn't actually say on the listing what it is, but as far as I can tell, DG4813. If anybody does know whether that is correct or not, please do let me know in the comments, because I'm always open to learning. I never claim to be an expert, I just get my hands on a lot of these watches, so I have a lot of hands-on experience, but I definitely don't have the knowledge of a lot of the guys in the comments. So hopefully someone will know for sure if I'm right there. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, another interesting fact with this strap, they do actually say on the listing that it's crow leather. Obviously a bit of a mistranslation or spelling mistake there, because obviously it's going to be cow leather. But I just thought it was a nice funny little detail, along with that pumpkin crown. It also has another little interesting bit you've probably noticed. It also says human art, spelled Humen. With this strap, it is actually like a suede kind of finish almost. So it's not like your normal leather strap. So, seeing as it's mentioned it on the back, let's check if it is actually sapphire crystal. Using the trusty diamond selector too. And yep, I've got sapphire crystal. Quickly check out the back. Just got mineral on the back, which you kind of expect at this price, not too big a deal. But now, let's check out what the Lume's like on this, because it is quite interesting. So you can see we've got a little bit there, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And there we go. So, as I said, pretty interesting on this. So, only the applied indices with the 12369 have got Lume, and obviously the hands. And you can probably also see down at the bottom, that sub-dial has actually got the 12369 with Lume as well, and that second hand. Interesting little touch. Definitely gives it a unique looking Lume profile. Not something you see all that often on AliExpress watches at least. When it comes to the longevity though, this is another thing they don't specify on the listing, what type of Lume it is. I don't think it's C3, or if it is, they haven't used that many layers on the numerals especially. You can see they're starting to fade already. The hands on the other hand aren't too bad. Again, sub-dial, not a lot of surface area there, so that's also fading pretty quickly. So they're not going to last that long. The hands will probably last you a few hours, but probably not a lot beyond that. So, in terms of Lume, not the best, but by no means the worst. So now, let's talk about this movement in a bit more detail. So when it comes to the crown, it's just a push-pull crown. So pull it out once, and change that date. Pop it out again. That second hand has actually stopped, so we've got hacking. And then obviously we can just change the time. Pop it back in, second hand re-engages. So when it comes to the specs on this movement, if I have actually got the right one, with it being the DG4813, that is actually a high beat movement. So the beat rate is 28,800. In terms of power reserve, from my testing it's working out to about 30 hours. But again, I couldn't really find any details online with specifics of what it should actually be. So again, if anybody does know, let me know down in the comments. And then obviously we've got hand winding as well, which works well. Rotor is a little on the noisy side. I'd say it's comparable to a Miyota 2815, so not brilliant. You're going to hear it in a quiet room if you're moving about, but normal conditions you're probably not going to notice it too much. So all it's left to do now, show you what it's like on wrist, and then we'll wrap this up. And here's what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. So as I say, with those lugs curving down pretty quickly, it does conform to wrist quite nicely. It's also pretty slim as well, so that also helps. And as I say, that lug to lug being below the 50, it just fits my 7-inch wrist nicely. For a smaller than 7-inch wrist, it might be a touch big. When it comes to the strap, I do like this. Nice and comfy, nice and soft, supple. With it being suede, it will collect bits of dust and stuff a little bit, as opposed to a normal leather strap. But other than that, can't really fault it. I think it suits the watch nicely as well. And depending on what colour you get, you'll get a different colour strap, obviously, to match. Overall, I think it's a really nice looking watch. I think they've done a good job. If I had any faults to pick with it, I'd probably get rid of the date window. You don't really need it. I think it kind of clutters the dial a little bit. And this one's just me, but this is my OCD talking. That sub dial, I would have preferred at the 6, but that's just me. The fact that you're getting a high beat movement at this kind of price on what I think is a unique watch, although it does take inspiration from a couple of different places, it's quite a nice touch. They've done a pretty good job. And let's not forget, you're getting that pumpkin crown and that crow leather. Now, they're pretty unique. But all joking aside, I think they've done a good job overall with the watch. And if you're interested in picking one up, links down in the description as always. That's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.